Alright, Ringo Reviews, Blood and Steel, Part 5. Here we go. We're going to start off talking about line formations and what happens when one side penetrates too deep. So, as you can see, both lines are lined up basically flat here, but what's going to end up happening is that on the left flank, I'm going to just use left and right from our perspective for both teams. So on the first sword's left flank, you're going to see them push pretty deep, while the executioner left flank is just going to hold, and the opposite is going to end up happening on the executioner right flank. So you're going to end up with this executioner sort of triad right there, and a first sword triad right here. So as we walk forward, you can see this happen. First swords end up stopping, executioners end up stopping, and you can see how this basically ends up giving us these diagonal lines. So instead of set up in a traditional echelon or in a straight riot tactic line, you have this weird deep penetration, and that could offer a couple of options. It's not going to, as the first swords are just going to end up backing away and sort of hugging the back rail, which is a poor strategy. Ends up with nowhere left to run. It's only useful if you want to have one-on-one fights, which they don't. So anyway, what could happen here is the corner man could try punching in and trying to hold this unit right here, hold them up, allowing the rest of the flank to collapse and maybe crush the inner side. That could happen on the other side too. Or you could try and make a sort of a hook run, so any of these fighters could punch in and then try to power through the middle unit to sort of smash them. You'll notice, however, that on the first sword's side, this doesn't really look like a great option because there's nowhere they can really run where they're not going to get picked up by two executioners. There is this easy path for the executioners to run where they could hook into the backfield, hook into the middle unit, or hook into this backfield over here. No one's going to take advantage of that run, and that's a little sad, but anyway, I just wanted to go over those possible options. The next thing we're going to talk about is sort of a coordinated attack and how there's this difference between when one guy jumps and the whole unit jumps. So we're going to see on the far right rail, these two fighters sort of bait each other, and they get real froggy and start throwing a bunch of shots. There we go. That's John Calderon throwing at, I believe, Aronsay. And as they start to get work, nothing really happens until Brian throws a shot into Morgan. And we're going to see that happen in just a second. That's going to allow the rest of the executioners to step up, right? So you're going to see this shot, and at the same time, John is stepping in. He actually throws a punch, which sort of freezes Morgan, preventing him from stepping in. Throws this shot here, and which ends up freezing this guy and this guy because they don't really know where he's going. At the same time, we're going to see Ken come into the middle here, and Pete's going to step up, Mangler's going to step up, and Al's going to step up. So, as we watch, bam, 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 all of these fighters step up, step in, and then you even see Brandon step in, and now we have full engagement. Here's that deep penetration I was talking about by John Calderon. So, what ends up happening here is these fighters who are stuck in, you get a couple of 2-on-1s. However, that allows a closing by the executioners. Because they followed up, they prevent this 2-on-1 from actually doing anything. You're going to see Al come in over here and do the same thing. So, bam, Brandon lands a shot, Pete lands a shot, and then Al throws a shot in here. And note all of these 2-on-1s are broken up. And you see sitting right here 3 unengaged first swords. That means there's 3 executioners who can go for a 2-on-1. So our dude potential, it tells us that over in the corner here, because we see 6, 8 first swords. There's 3, there's 2 more. We see there's only going to be 2 over here. However, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 executioners, which means there's a 3-on-2 off to the side. There's a 2-on-1 here. There's a 1-on-1 here. There's a 2-on-1 here, and 1-on-1s here. So the executioners end up with a huge spade in number because they were able to follow up their opponents and push the first swords back. Now we're going to move into talking about what happens in open field running. So as everyone breaks up into their individual fights, we're going to see a couple of runs happen. We're going to see Orlando takes this run over here. We're going to see Brandon is going to come up. Oop, wrong arrow. That's Orlando's run. Brandon's going to come up and then dip back down because he sees a good back target. And we're going to see Pat run. Again, the wrong arrow. Pat's going to run up, check someone, and then do this sort of loop that you can't really see because it's going to come off screen. So what we're looking for here is that as Orlando runs in, he could easily take this shot on Brandon, but instead of changing direction, just runs by him. Brandon picks him up, decides to let him go because he's too late, and then he's got that target that he sees someone's juicy back probably. It's hard to tell. Orlando does get a takedown here, a nice check that we can't see on screen, but there's a fighter who goes down. Which is a great move on his part. However, he could have easily hit Brandon and then moved into that check, which would have let Pat be freer earlier, because as we can see, Brandon's already moving before Pat finds his target over here. And there's already a 2-on-1 that's opened up. Pat moves in, picks a new target engage, grabs Pete, and notice as both Pat and Orlando come in, they are working at cross purposes. They don't pick each other up. They don't see what's happening. And so basically ends up doing nothing. And we're going to see another bad run as Pat runs in here and sees the fighter he's running into, pick him up, and still runs into him, gets run the fuck over. Brian is going to follow him, and we're going to see Al from off screen come up, and he's going to fuck up by not clearing this body, sending Kraken on this run here. So that's where we're going to see everyone go. Blah, blah, blah. So here we see Al come in, and he really needs to step wide here, come around, and he can either drive Kraken through the bodies, he can hook him and pull him back that way, but he needs to be safer in his engagement. So you see right there, that right at the bottom of the screen, his foot catches, he trips, and despite being a full 100 pounds heavier than Kraken, doesn't take him down. Kraken comes running by. Brandon, too late, picks him up. We see that swing and a miss. Here's what I'm talking about by Pat in the corner. Pat's got this run. He sees his target. His target sees him. He needs to change who he's picking up because he is maybe a $180, and he's running into a guy who's probably 250. Boom, big hit. He goes down. Now Kraken sees his target. He's going to try and run here. Brian was on the same path as he sees Pat go down. He's going to look up, catch Kraken. Boom, nice little cross check there. And this is going to be the final thing we talk about. It's knees. This is a weapon that is not utilized enough. So we come in here. We're going to see Brian's knee comes all the way up into Kraken's armpit. Bam! Take a look at his foot as he comes up. His heel is off the deck right here. He's putting everything he has, basically jumping as he throws that shot. And as he does, note how he pulls inwards. Boom. So he's using his whole body into this strike. Then he's going to do it again. and throw the shot right into Kraken's gut, and now starts to apply pressure downwards that he could throw another one in, but Kraken's already falling down. This little bit, this downward pressure after strikes is key. Not enough of us continue to work the throw after we hurt someone. We just wait for them to take a knee. Oftentimes, they'll take a knee very fast if you just add a little bit of pressure. So, anyway, I ran a little bit over time this time, so working on it, tightening up the script and all that, but hope you liked it. My 4 points were talking about how knees are more effective, how you got to be more heads up on your open field runs, how when you commit, you need to commit as a unit, and how pushing deep can leave you at risk but open up a couple of nice opportunities. So with that, I'll sign off and see you next time.